Good afternoon. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Lennox Forrest. I'm a clinical psychologist, counseling psychologist. As a clinical psychologist, I work with people who are struggling with mental health issues. I evaluate them doing testing, psychological metrics. Counseling psychologist, I see people who are struggling with relationships, grief and loss, depression, anxiety, and so forth. One of the things that I do as an area of interest is sports psychology. Sports psychology is the study of the psychological factors that affect sports performance. Sports psychology looks to increase athletic performance. As a sports psychologist, I'm called in to meet with teams, meet with individual players. For example, a player who has been injured, he's probably feeling depressed, wondering if he will ever be able to perform at a high level again. So lots of anxiety about the ability to come back and to perform. I've been very fortunate to work with some of the most renowned athletes in the world, to know them personally, to work with them, and to develop friendships and relationships. My interest in sports psychology was piqued when I was in my 20s. I was very, very fortunate to develop a good relationship with Muhammad Ali. That relationship really helped to transform my life. And as I spent more and more time with him, I saw certain things and learned certain things from him that has been invaluable to me over the years. One thing that struck me was when I would be in his house with him, and it was just the two of us. All of a sudden, Muhammad would say, "I'm a bad man." And when he said that, I was always wondering, why is he saying that? But later on, as I became more learned and more mature, and understanding the concepts of psychological principles, Muhammad was speaking confidence into his life. As an athlete, some of the most important words that you and I will ever receive as an athlete comes from ourself. And in psychology, we call that positive self-talk. If you look at certain great athletes, Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant, those athletes have used psychological principles to help them transcend their game. Now, here are some important psychological factors to think about. Number one, confidence. When an athlete is confident in their skills and their abilities, they function at a different level. A confident athlete begins to believe in themselves. One of the great things about confidence is that it is linked to the action center of the brain. And when an athlete has confidence, as a sports psychologist, I can see it. Because two things happen. Number one, that athlete, that person believes that they can do anything. Number two, they believe that they can make anything happen. Whether they're playing basketball, football, soccer, whatever. Those two things, can do and can make it happen. A confident athlete who believes in themselves, they become virtually unstoppable. Then you have what's called emotional control or behavioral regulation, behavioral management. That person can control themselves. Two powerful emotions can override an athlete, and one is anger. Anger is probably the most powerful emotion that we as people experience. But few people know this, that when we become overwhelmed with anger, the research says that for a split second, the brain disconnects. In other words, a person goes crazy and they can't think straight. So as an athlete, it's important to have that emotional regulation, to be able to control yourself. Because as people, we have been created in such a way that we take in information emotionally first before we can synthesize it to rational thinking. I don't have to name any of the players who struggle to control themselves. Someone who is angry and can't self-regulate, they can't perform. They've got to be taken out of the game, they've got to be sit down, or they've got to go to the locker room. So that's another very important psychological factor, is emotional regulation, to be able to control yourself in the heat of the battle. The other important psychological variable is concentration. Does this person have the ability to focus on such a level that they tune out everything? Their focus and their concentration is strictly on what they need to do. Mind control. And then you have what's called motivation. And there are two types of motivation. You have what's called intrinsic motivation, which comes from within. I just want to be great because that's the most important thing to me as an athlete. And the other is extrinsic motivation. Well, I'm motivated because I'm getting $10 million. Which motivation is more effective? Intrinsic, when it comes from within. That will distinguish a great athlete from an ordinary athlete. That motivation is important. So once again, confidence. It's everything for an athlete, for players, for teams. Emotional regulation. I can control myself. I don't need someone to have to come and talk me down. You can do that on your own. And then concentration. To just put your mind in such a place that there's no distractions. Everything is tuned out. And then you have that motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. Now I want to say a few things about the NBA playoffs. We have watched some incredible basketball, and now we're down to two teams, OKC and Indiana. OKC was tagged to win it all. Indiana is looking good. I didn't see the last game, but they won it by 1 point. The tip-off is in about 4 or 5 hours. So let me give you some psychological factors to think about as you watch the game. Right now, Indiana is up by 1 game. Their plan, I'm sure, was to win 1 game in OKC. I'm positive that was their goal, and they did it. So right now, they're on cloud 9. And Tyrese Halliburton, his confidence is in the stratosphere. This guy can hit some superlative shots. His team is in a good place, is in a positive place because they're confident. Game 2, anything can happen. Don't be surprised, because that shot that he hit, it wasn't a fluke. He's hit those types of shots before. My concern now for OKC, they're in a situation now where they didn't think that they were going to lose game 1. So I think there could be some doubt. And remember, 2 things affect performance of athletes: pressure and stress. And some of us can say stress and anxiety go together. So they've got a lot to contend with. Their number 1 player, SGA, he has to lead that team. But there's pressure and stress and anxiety. And they're coming in now with a little bit of self-doubt. So we are going to see what happens. One of the important things about a team is that collectively they have to be on the same dimension. Their motivation has to be high. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. So when you're watching the game, look at the players' demeanor. Are they looking relaxed? Are they looking stressed, nervous? Do they have their head held high? And here's another element to think about. The coaching staff rarely gets enough credit. Carlisle has won an NBA championship. Mark, he's looking to win 1. That's an important variable. One has the experience of winning it. One is looking to win it. When one has had the experience, they know certain things. They can do certain things. With coaches, it's a chess game. Sports is like the game of life. It's a microcosm. The one who makes the right moves will win. We all desire to be winners. One thing that Muhammad Ali taught me, everybody loves the winner. Everyone wants to get behind the winning team. It takes a lot to win. And there can only be one champion. So tune in. Look for those psychological factors that make athletes, teams great. Sports has been a part of human experience for centuries. It's safe to say that the psychology behind our obsession with sports is very complex. And that's for another podcast. It's been my pleasure. Tune in and enjoy the game. Thank you.